Hey, Tony, I see your profile.
Oh, yeah? Well, what if I retrade it for this one?
I like it.
So the big question is this. As real estate agents, how do we figure out where and when to cross the finish line of this crazy business? We're told that we need to build a real estate business that supports us after we pay our dues. Well, the truth is that so many agents spend decades looking for the finish line and never find it. And I don't know about you, but we'll be damned if we're doing open houses until we're 70. You have to have passive streams of income in your real estate business if you want to survive. Well, this is exactly what we're talking about right here, right now on the Passive Real Estate Agent Podcast. Hey folks, welcome to the Passive Real Estate Agent Podcast. Anthony Nitz here and
Matt Stewart.
Matt Stewart right there with us. We got some fun stuff to talk about today. We're going to be talking about profiles. Are you guys using your profiles effectively? And what about this retrade thing? What are you talking about today, Matt?
Well, when you find an apartment complex and there is something expensive that needs to be repaired, then you can renegotiate the price or get a repair allowance or something from the buyer, or I'm sorry, from the seller.
Cool. All right. Yeah, that's that is important to do. And but let's talk about profiles for a minute. And we're not going to take long on this, but I've spent some time, in my always looking around to see what other people are doing and what's going on in their business as far as their real estate business goes. I look at their social media stuff and I am blown away at how many people do not take advantage of their profiles, right? Their profile, descriptions and bios and other opportunities to put links and things like that in their profile, because you got to understand, and I'm going to give a perfect example. I was driving down the street and I saw this car, and in front of me, it had the little Instagram logo, on the back window, Instagram logo. And it had @ and then it had this person's name. And I think it was, I don't know, Christine Sells Real Estate, something like that. Right. So of course caught my attention, and I'm looking at that going, okay, Christine Sells Real Estate. I'm going to look it up and I'm going to see. And so now she's driving around and she's got all these people who are seeing the back of her car. And when I went to her profile, nothing on the profile.
Nothing.
As far as, and on Instagram, you can only put a description and a link in the bio, right? That's it. You can't put links on your posts and in your comments and things like that. Not active ones anyways. And I thought, man, what a missed opportunity, because I got to imagine how many people have actually done that and gone to her her Instagram account. And yeah, she had posts. There was plenty of posts. But what she should have done was taken full advantage of the opportunity right then and there and said something like, hey, this is what I specialize in this area, so that I can really get you the most money for your house when you sell. Or I'm a first-time buyer specialist and that's my niche. Or, I deal with investors exclusively, whatever it is, whatever her target is, her avatar that she's going after. We've talked about that in previous episodes, but she did not address that at all. And so let's talk about a couple of these profiles, a couple of these platforms, right? So Facebook, right? Facebook is a given one. And, it kills me because I see these agents and they have a nice, friendly, flowery image as far as their header image goes, right? And here's one thing that people don't realize is those images. So you've got your header, your profile, the header image that goes across. I forget exactly what they call it. You have your profile picture, and then you also can put featured images, right? And on all those images, you get to put a description. Okay. And so what I so what I do, for example, on my profile is I say, hey, this is what I do. Want to learn more? Click here. And they click on the picture, and I actually have like a little image. It looks like it's a button on the image, but it's obviously not going to go anywhere because it's just a picture.
The whole picture has a link.
Yeah. And so when you click on it, it opens it separately as just the image so somebody could see it. But in the description, it says, hey, do you want to learn more about what I do? Whatever. That's not what it says. But if you want to learn about my specialty of what I do and how I serve you, then click this link below. And I have a bunch of little fingers pointing down, and I have my URL right there. Okay. And I know just from tracking and looking at my analytics, I don't get a ton, but from time to time I get people who click on those links.
Is that effective? Are they a warmer lead, or are they just sort of kicking tires? Or
I think that they're actually a pretty good lead, and I'll tell you why. So here's a strategy that I use, and I kicked myself. I really need to get somebody else to do this just to stay consistent. I don't know, because I'm just lazy about it. If I go in my local community groups, right? So like the groups from my city, there's probably 20 of them. Okay. And if I just post random stuff, no links, no nothing. If I just go in and post something like, hey, by the way, in November, just so you know, in our city, there was this many homes that were sold through the MLS. There's this many that are active, and there's this many, that are pending. Here's what the median home sale price is. That's it. I just do that. I don't put a link. I don't say contact me. I don't do any of that stuff, right? Because a lot of the moderators for those groups will just ban it right away. Well, I put it in there. Do you think when people are scrolling through the group and they see that and they go, oh, that's interesting, and then they see my picture there with my name, and they hover over my name, it pops up with my information, with a picture, a snapshot of my profile, right? Well, guess what? My header is part of that. I'm doing it right now, actually, just for kicks. My header is part of that. So now if I have that right message in there, they go, oh gosh, Anthony's a real estate agent, in our city. I've been thinking about selling. Let's see what he has to say. Click. Right now. So now they go to my profile. Now they go to follow my links to get to where I'm trying to get them to. And, and so if they were to do that, I think that they're a pretty hot lead, honestly.
Okay.
Because I'm not doing a cold reach out to them. They're actually reaching out to me. You know what I'm saying?
The more that they do the moving around, the more interested they are, the easier they are to look at what you have.
Yeah. It's kind of that situation of, somebody calls you and they're like giving you a hard time about something like that. And you're like, you called me, I'm giving you my advice. You called me. I didn't call you, and that very rarely ever happens, but it's kind of that mentality where they're like going, well, I know I called this guy, if he can give me the information that I'm looking for, if he can give me some good advice, then why not use them, right?
Yeah. And I'll be nice in the process, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. And then same thing with your profile picture. If you put a profile picture up there and it's got a picture of your, your face there, and people are like, oh, look, he looks nice or she looks nice or whatever. If they click on your profile picture, same thing. In the description, you put, hey, by the way, this is what we do. Click on this link to learn more. Okay. And then also your featured image. So that's Facebook, but Instagram, you can't do that. You can't do links in your post. Now there's a way to do swipe ups in your stories and all this stuff. I'm not going to get into that. Let's just talk about your bio, right? People go to your bio, excuse me. People go to your bio, or they look at your, they look at your posts, and every once in a while you post something related that says, hey, we've got this special promo going. for a real estate business, we'll give you a, free home warranty.
Nice.
Link in the bio, right?
Right.
Everybody knows that terminology. If you're on Instagram, everybody knows that terminology. Link in the bio. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm interested in I want to get a free home warranty,
Right.
And so they go there. But if you've got nothing in your bio, no link or anything like that, then you've got a problem. Now, here's the thing though. And I was going to talk about LinkedIn next. See, LinkedIn, I mean, it's exactly the same thing. You have a bio, you have images, you have things that people can click on, and you need to make sure that they are linked to something. Okay. But here's the deal. This is what's really important. Your audience on Facebook is going to be a little bit different than your audience on Instagram, and is definitely going to be different than your audience on LinkedIn, right?
Right.
And so if you're putting posts on Facebook and you have your little bio description written out, but then also in your images you have descriptions and links in those images, then those are more geared towards the pattern interrupt or the interruptive style of marketing, which is Facebook, right? People are on there scrolling, they're looking at stuff, whatever, and then they see your thing. You interrupted what they were doing. Oh, well, let's see what Anthony's talking about. Okay, and now they click. So you have to have a message that's kind of geared towards that, and the social element of it, right? Instagram is very graphical, right? So if you give them the same link that you gave them on Facebook that says, hey, go here to learn this, instead of sending them to a page that has just a bunch of text explaining what you do, create an infographic. Go to fiverr.com and create an infographic that describes what you do,
I
right?
love
Whatever it is.
Fiverr.
Yeah. I know. No, it's a great resource. I just wish it was still $5.
Yeah.
But so for Instagram, yeah, do a infographic, right? So that way people look at that and they go, yeah, okay, it ties in. I'm on Instagram looking at pictures. I go to your bio, I click on your link, it takes me to a page that is pictures, even if it's your slides from your presentation and you just stack them one right on top of each other. Still, it's graphical, right? It might have the text, but it's still graphical. Okay. LinkedIn, obviously, you're going to make a little bit more of a professional
Right.
type of message. It's the same people. It's the same darn people. You think people on LinkedIn are not on Facebook and Instagram? No, of course they are. But when
It's a
they're
different
in
purpose.
LinkedIn, their expectation is more of a, this is a professional environment. People doing business are here, as opposed to I'm just hanging out. Because I'll go into Instagram, or I'm sorry, into LinkedIn, and I'll scroll the feed, a little bit, just see what's going on. But I'm probably not in there more than 5 minutes. I mean, if I hit 10 minutes in LinkedIn, I mean, it's got something is, wrong with the universe. There's like planets aligned or something.
I've liked LinkedIn because I've posted things there, and it gives you, like, I had videos for one of my businesses, and it shows you, oh, 37 people viewed this. I don't know if they watched the whole video, but I like that analytic. And I was able to reach more people than, say, some Facebooks, or so it's nice. I like seeing that information, and people are more interested because they know what you're doing better.
Right. And even Gary V, if you listen to Gary V, because he's like the Mr. Omnipresent social media guy. He's even talking about LinkedIn right now is just, is the place to be, because you don't have the throttles put on you like you have on Facebook and now on Instagram. Because Instagram, it was pretty much, hey, you posted, everybody saw it.
Right.
Now they've throttled that down, so only a percentage of your people see your posts again, right? LinkedIn is still pretty wide open as far as that goes. If you put out a post, then and there's people who are following you, they're probably going to see your post.
Right.
Okay. But again, your bios, your sorry, your bios, your and the links and where you take them, should be a little bit different, a little bit more of a professional look and feel to it. Not to say you can't get them down that path of more of the social element of it, because that's where you want to get them to, so that you guys can build a bond and whatnot. But to start out with, yeah, you want to hit them. And then there's other places like Nextdoor. People like, if you're using Nextdoor for your community, holy smokes, people completely forget about their profile as a real estate agent in Nextdoor, because it works the same way as like Facebook when you're posting in groups and things, right? You're not going to face our Nextdoor is very, very strict against self-promotion, right? Especially for like real estate and stuff like that, because they know there's a bazillion real estate agents and we're going to just spam the heck out of Nextdoor.
Right.
But if you're on Nextdoor and you're getting into conversations, with people about, whatever the local thing that happened or the local event or whatever, and you're just commenting, all you have to do is be commenting. You don't even have to create your own post. It's a good idea if you do, but if you're commenting, then people go, oh, who's this Matt Stewart guy? And they click on your profile and they go, oh, he's a real estate agent. Oh, look, he specializes in,
multifamily,
$40 million mansions. That's all.
There you go. I like that. $40 million. You got it.
Just sell one.
Yeah. Do you ever use QR codes?
I use them on my signs.
Okay.
But that's about the only place that I use them. They definitely have a place, and it's like in like Japan and things like that. I mean, they just took off like crazy, right?
Right.
From what I've heard, I haven't been to Japan, but they took off like crazy, and just over here they're just not as accepted. So I'm going to give you an example on my signs, on one of my sign writers. It says, to get more information on this property, either put or scan the QR code to go to the property page and get all the details, or text this code to this number, right? And I get more people texting the code than I do scanning the QR code. Me personally, I'd rather scan the QR code, because then I'm not giving you my number, but I know that I'm giving you my number.
Right.
A lot of people don't realize that they're giving me their number when they send the text.
Yeah, I wonder. I think about that lady you mentioned that had her sign on her car, and if you had something catchy, and with the QR code, because she's going to be gone in like 30 seconds.
Yeah,
the QR code could be helpful, especially if you catch her eye with some sort of graphic of, oh, that's exciting. I like what they're saying, and then boom.
Yeah. Well, and so have you ever been in a situation where you're driving down the street, you see something, you're like, oh my gosh, I need to get those details. And by the time you get your phone out and you get it to the camera app and you're trying to focus, you've already driven past it. Right.
Right.
But what I think, like for that lady in that particular case, she had it on the back of her car.
Right.
And I think she should, yeah, I agree. QR code, but also just have a little thing that says, quick, take a picture of this, right? Because there's a lot of people are like going, oh gosh, oh man, I need to talk to somebody, but I don't have her information, right?
Right.
But if she said, quick, take a picture of this, somebody would go, oh yeah, okay, I'll take a picture of it, snap,
right,
go back to it later, whether it was a QR code or not.
Sure.
And go look up her profile, and then hopefully there's a proper bio and link in the profiles, right?
Right.
So, setting up your profiles, and this not only goes for Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, but it's also, like I said, Nextdoor, Snapchat, YouTube, Twitter. They have that new platform, Parlor. Your realtor.com profile. Oh my gosh, I see so many people who have these horrible profiles in realtor.com. Guys, you're a realtor. Make your profile sparkle, spend some time on it. And the cool thing is you only got to do it once, but what I would suggest is you put it in there in your calendar that once a year you review all your profiles. Okay.
Update it.
Your Zillow profile, right? We know Zillow is the enemy, right? But you get to create a profile in there. Somebody wants to look you up in there and they go, oh gosh, look, there's Anthony and this is what he does. Okay, great. Yeah, fine. Let's give him a call. But if you don't have the information there, people are looking. So now let me ask you, when you go out and you make an introduction with somebody or you get introduced to somebody, hey, Karen, this is Matt. He's a great agent and you should really talk to him about having him sell your house, right? Because he's going to do a wonderful job. And they're like, okay, great. And they get your name and your contact information. And what's the first thing do you think that they do?
Call their brother's neighbor or someone.
They go look online. They go they go look for all your profiles online.
Sure.
They look for positive and negative reviews, right?
Right. That's becoming so common with everything out there, whether it's an employer or your whoever.
Yeah, absolutely. And if they go to Zillow and they look up Matt and it's the mystery man image because you never uploaded a photo of yourself.
Right.
And then you have nothing in the description or text or links or anything like that. They go, okay, well, maybe he's on realtor.com. Nothing. Okay, well, let's see where he's at on Facebook. And they go to your profile and you got a picture of puppies in your header image. Right. You know what I mean? It's like,
who's this guy? Is he really going to sell my house?
Is he any good at what he does? I don't know.
Right.
So anyway, that's my 2 cents for the day. How about we retrade that for another topic?
You got it.
Yeah.
Well, my topic today is renegotiating. This is, like I said earlier, you've just done that. You've written the offer, the letter of intent. It's gotten accepted. You've done your due diligence. You've looked at the whole property, and maybe there's some things that need to be addressed, repaired. Maybe the owner has neglected certain things. You can go back and retrade. Okay, so retrade and renegotiate, it's the same thing. It's just the industry term is retrade. One thing that you want to be careful about is you don't want to nickel and dime the broker, because they've got a lot of different investors. And if you're not easy to work with as an investor, the brokers are going to be less likely to want to do other deals. All right. So unless the expense of the repair is big, like for example, a lot of apartment complexes have boilers to heat. They're $15,000 to replace. So if that needs to be replaced or repaired, then yeah, you would want to go back to the seller and say, yeah, let's work it out. I didn't know about this before, but we need to do this. Now, I suggest that you don't ask for like a discount on the sales price. What you want to do is ask for a repair allowance at close. Either they're going to say, yes, that's fine, I'll do it, or they'll say, no, I'm not willing to do that. But if they say no, then you can either you're going to accept it or walk away. But you want to do a repair allowance, because what that does is that gives you the actual cash to do that repair. If you don't do it, do a repair allowance, then what's going to happen is they'll discount the price. Then you have to come up with the cash to repair that $15,000 boiler. So
yeah, and that goes to that also goes to the importance of having your own inspection crews and contractors and people giving you quotes, because that's another factor, right? if there, let's say it's $15,000. Well, the seller could tell you, we had a guy come out and give us a quote for 10 grand.
Mhm.
And, they may even give you an invoice and you go, oh, it's only 10 grand. Okay, fine. Well, we'll take care of it after we close. But then you close and then you find out the guy's like, yeah, it was 10 grand just to, do that part of it.
Right.
If you actually want it to work, it's 15 grand, and you're like,
And
hey, that
also
was left out.
I think there's wisdom in, as the buyer, having your own inspection and paying for that, because you don't know how thorough the inspector is, if it's the broker's or the seller's inspector. Because if the inspector is working for them, then that inspector wants more work from them. So they may not be as forthcoming as someone that you've hired to tell me absolutely everything. And I don't mean to put down brokers or sellers. There's a lot of good people out there, but what you were trying to do is get the best picture of what really is going on with the property, so that you can be aware of the money. Because your apartment community is going to be valued on the cash flow after expenses. So if you have to spend a lot of money, that's going to lower your value of the building.
Right. And the good thing about getting a credit too is the fact that you can do the repair the way you want to,
Right.
So you get that quote from your guy and he said, it's somebody you're working with all the time and they're going to give you a break. Say, hey, I need a quote for the retail price, right? Give me what's the quote for the actual retail price of what this would cost if just somebody off the street called you, and then of course I need my price,
Yeah.
right? And so they give you the quote and they say, yeah, okay, retail is $15,000. Now you have that as leverage to go to the seller and say, hey, we want a credit for that repair. Look, we got a quote. It's $15,000. And you get that quote. Now your guy comes in there and does it for 12.5.
Right.
That's fine. And you can control that, as opposed to, and I'll give you an example. And I think I told you about this, Matt. We had a situation where the buyer had requested these certain things to be repaired. Well, they got, some people from the Home Depot parking lot and said, do you know how to use a hammer and nails? And they said, sure. And then they started working on the plumbing, or whatever. And it was like,
Right.
it was a mess. It was a horrible mess. And they said, well, hey, it's repaired. Well, not the right way,
That's important. That brings up, I'm glad you said that, because when you go through and you have a list, these things need to be repaired. And if the seller is going to do the repairs, you're going to want to follow up before close. Did the repairs get done? Did they do it right? Because if they didn't get done, you're stuck with it. You now own that. And whatever repairs, if they're subpar, you're stuck with it. It's your baby now.
Have your guys come back in and re-inspect.
Right.
Have your guys come in and re-inspect. So
exactly.
Yeah. And so what if you're on the seller side? That what if you're the property owner and you're selling it? It's still a good idea to give a credit, or
it depends on the motivation of the seller, because you might have sellers that maybe they've owned the property for 30 years, and the mortgage has been paid off or paid down and they're ready to cash out. Maybe they'd be willing to do a little bit of allowance like that because they've got a lot of equity. Again, there's could be people that are maybe inheriting, like a probate situation where the kids inherited from dad passed away, and now they're stuck with a property that they really have no interest in. Well, who knows what their mind is like? They might be willing to, they might not. They might just want to get rid of it, and there could be others that are just like hard nosed and just, I want every single penny out of this thing.
I'm just saying so if you're in a seller situation and you own the property, you're selling it, and you go, you know what, these guys want this stuff repaired. I'll tell you what the advice I always give my clients is, give them a credit. Don't do the repairs yourself. You might be able to get them done a lot cheaper, but let them do the repairs, because guaranteed, every single time you go get that repair done, 3 days later, they take possession of the property and it breaks again.
Right.
For some reason. It's just gremlins, right, in the system. It's not anything else. So you give them a credit. You say, hey, look, here's the money. You do it yourself. That way you're off the hook. You move, you're free and clear. And when the thing breaks or is more expensive to repair than they had thought, well, that's their problem, So
I think that makes a lot of sense. I just know that sometimes people have a certain thought in their head, and sometimes giving credits are fine for these multi-unit places, but sometimes the owners might say, I want more. I think there's more value or whatever, and if they're not willing to do that or give a credit, then then you can choose to move on or not. But it's again, that's the way you do it, rather than lower the price.
It just all goes down to the bottom line, right?
That's what it is.
Cool. All right. Anything else?
That's all I've got for this episode.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet.
I like it. I like short and sweet. Cool. Well, guys, thanks so much for, joining us every week. And we're trying to knock these out every single week for you guys and just give you good tips and tricks and ideas and stuff like that to consider. We believe that, there's so many real estate agents who are out there who, guys, we're grinding every single day. You grind, you make a sale. Well, guess what? Now you're unemployed. You got to start all over again, right? Leveraging income property is one way to build up a passive income portfolio for you. And it's a great way, right? We've heard it so many times. The wealth of most wealthy people was built through real estate. And if you can do the same thing, then definitely, why not? It's just a good strategy. But if you're in a situation where you go, well, I'm not there yet. I'm not in a place where I can get to the point where I can go buy an investment property. I can't even buy my own house yet. Right? We get it. And that's why we've got other strategies that we share with people on a private basis, one-on-one. We'll chat with you in person. Just go to thepassiverealestateagent.com, click on the contact link, and schedule a call with Matt or myself. And we'd be happy to chat with you and share with you some of our strategies. No obligations and things like that. No pressure. We just share. The more people we share, the more people we're able to impact and help over time. So feel free to do that. Any parting words there, Matt?
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We always love having you here. Check us out on YouTube, iTunes, and there's also Stitcher. So there's lots of different ways to reach out to us. And
Spotify.
I'm sorry?
Spotify as well?
Spotify as well, yeah. So yeah, just share this with your friends, click like, thumbs up, and thanks for checking in.
Take care, guys. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for listening to the Passive Real Estate Agent Podcast. Hey, do us a favor and subscribe to us on whatever platform you're listening to us right now. Don't forget the likes and the comments. We always appreciate it. And, it really helps others to find this valuable information. Now, look, there's something that both Matt and I and several of our guests have discovered that has radically changed our real estate job into a truly passive income. And it's a little controversial, and that's why we really don't discuss it on the show. But we'd like to invite those truly entrepreneurial individuals to learn more. Just visit thepassiverealestateagent.com and join one of our upcoming webinars. You'll thank yourself later that you did. Thanks again so much for listening. Take care.